Pokemon has just released a new event for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. This event makes it easy to find Fungus as well as both forms of Voltorb out in the wild through outbreaks. And it's pretty easy to find Shiny Voltorb with this method. How easy exactly? Pretty easy. Hello there, trainers and gamers. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Today I will be showing you just how easy it is to find Shiny Voltorb using the current event in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. As you may be aware, Pokemon Day is coming up, and until that day, there is an ongoing event to find Voltorb and Fungus through mass outbreaks in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Now, these outbreaks have increased shiny odds, which is fantastic for shiny hunters. While both Fungus and Voltorb are great to shiny hunt, I'm going to be showing you how Voltorb is even easier to get than you might first think. As you can see, I have already been able to catch myself 12 different Voltorb. One of them's an Electrode because I decided to evolve it. But each one of these Voltorb, if I go into their summary, that is today's date, February 23rd of 2024. Every single one of these has been caught today. Now, some people may think that Voltorb is hard to try and shiny hunt simply because of the fact that it's one of the only Pokemon known for blowing itself up. However, that's not really the case. In Generation 9, both Voltorb and its Hisuian form can't learn self-destruct until level 26, which may seem like a low level, but a lot of the outbreaks are not that high leveled simply because they are in Paldea. Now, of course, it depends where you are in the map that decides what level the Voltorb are going to be, but as long as you stick to an area with low-level Pokemon, or low-ish level Pokemon, you shouldn't have to worry about this issue. For example, I have a outbreak of Voltorb in the Asado Desert, and all the Pokemon I've caught have been around the early 20s, normally around level 20 to 23. With this in mind, let's say you have an outbreak of Voltorb somewhere in Glaciado Mountain. Let's say you do have outbreaks in those areas. As long as you don't pick those specific areas, you should be fine. For example, I have an outbreak for Voltorb in Tagtree Thicket. And even though this is a little bit of a later part in the story, you will find Pokemon that are going to be above the level 26 range, so just be wary of that. Of course, you can always counter this with a Pokemon that knows Damp, or maybe by putting the Pokemon to sleep. For example, my Smeargle here knows Spore, which means I can just quickly put it to sleep turn 1, and then it doesn't have a chance to use Self-Destruct. However, if you want to use a Pokemon with Damp, Pokemon like Golduck are a perfect example of how to stop Voltorb from exploding. But here's the main reason why shiny hunting Voltorb is so easy now. Actually, that's exactly the reason. See, in a regular outbreak, whenever you're trying to spawn and respawn Pokemon, you'd see a bunch of Pokemon like this, you'd see if any of them are shiny, and if none of them are shiny, normally you'd just run away from the area. They all despawn. I mean, there's still a couple over there, but they all despawn, you come back, and then Voltorb starts spawning again. However, this, unfortunately, can risk you running away from a shiny with it spawning and despawning right away. I have had this happen personally with recently having an Umbreon outbreak, and I ran away from one because it spawned in last second. However, Voltorb is a little bit special. You see, whenever you walk up to a Voltorb out in the wild, you may notice that it explodes. Using this, instead of having to run all the way outside of the outbreak to despawn the Pokemon, all you have to do is just run up to a Voltorb and have it explode. What this does is that it despawns all the regular Voltorb. That way, you don't have to worry about running away from the outbreak. As you can see, I'm just running up to all the Voltorb that are in this outbreak. I'm not encountering any of them, just running towards them. And all of them are just blowing up, which makes it super quick to spawn any new Voltorb. Because they despawn and respawn so quickly, you are less likely to accidentally run away from a shiny, simply because you're not going as far away as you usually would in a regular outbreak. Okay, well, this is the perfect opportunity for me to show this. Now, I'm just going to save, just to make sure I don't fail this. You always want to save. You always want to make sure that you'll save. So, any other Voltorb, you run up to it, and it explodes. The cool thing is that Shiny Voltorb, because of how they're coded, they do not explode. So you don't have to worry about running past a Shiny Voltorb and then trying to frantically save the game or get into battle with it to make it not explode, because these things, no matter how much you run around them, you can get as close as you want, they will not explode. So all you need to do is just get close to it, and you can save, and you can just sit here if you want to. You can just sit here by the Voltorb. Okay? You can just become buddies if you want to. Do circles around the Voltorb, do anything you want. It will not despawn. So I'm going to go ahead and catch it. And there it goes. And we have ourselves a Shiny Voltorb. Just to clarify, this method also works with Hisuian Voltorb because it also doesn't learn self-destruct until level 26, and it also will not blow up in your face if it's shiny in the overworld. So just to recap, this is what you want to do. You want to go find an outbreak of Voltorb or Hisuian Voltorb, preferably one that's in a starter area of the game so it's not too high level. You then want to KO the 60, that way you'll get the best odds. Then, after you've KO'd the 60 and you have the best odds, you can of course make a sandwich if you want, but that's optional. I personally have not made a sandwich for any of these shinies. These have all been just through the outbreaks and a shiny charm. And then just start running past Voltorb, letting them explode, and eventually you should come across a shiny one. I hope that these tips and tricks were useful and that you may use them to get your own collection of shiny blue Voltorb. With that being said, thank you for watching, and happy hunting!